This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Arizona. I am here with Fighters for Hope. This nonprofit coalition delivers mental health awareness and suicide prevention across many at-risk populations with a coalition of nonprofit partners. I'm joined here with the co-founder and best-selling author. Buddy, thanks so much for joining us here today.
It's definitely an honor to be here, and you're talking about something that I'm very passionate about.
Excellent. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. You were formerly educated in multiple colleges and universities, including Liberty and Grand Canyon, with a master's and a doctorate. You were a top-level negotiator and cultural fitness expert. As a Vietnam-era veteran, you have served your country in the United States Navy. You have been invited to speak on cultural topics, and you routinely appear on many podcasts. Share with us how Fighters for Hope became your vision.
I get faced with, dilemmas and problems all the time. People bring me the idea that with society being the way it is, they circle more toward despair than hope. And I had people come to me who were experiencing suicide in their environment, and they said, could you please help us, and can we move forward and create something? And so Fighters for Hope was born with my co-founder, Randy Blake Jr., who is a 5-time world kickboxing champion. He is now fighting his fight against suicide as opposed to people in the ring.
That is excellent. Great story. Glad to have you. Since 2020, would you say the focus on our mental health has increased? And why is this awareness more needed today, maybe than ever before?
COVID obviously is a universal constant for everybody. And what it did was it created an isolation effect. And when you're in isolation, being social creatures, humans need more connection. And so when they had time to ruminate, mental health issues and depression became a much higher topic, and it became more relevant in a wide range of populations. Didn't matter what the socioeconomic status was. Everyone suffered from the same thing. And now somebody's got to do something to address that.
Do mental health issues affect all areas of life, would you say? Not only in our homes, but also in our work environment as well.
Oh, yes. You can't have a problem in one domain of your area and compartmentalize it very well. Very, very few people can do that. And the ones who can do that are masking. Robin Williams very famously said, people do not hide being well behind a mask without people knowing something's there. And people always say they're well, but what they end up doing is they're telling people, I'm broken, I'm hurting behind the mask. And so we have to ferret that out. But it's a universal. And can you take it from the home and just leave it there and not go to work and still be broken?
Understanding that mask that is put forward to the public when mental health is an issue. In our work, how can building a world-class culture improve the mental health really of everyone? And what is culture, kind of for folks out there that may not understand?
Culture is the domain that we interact with each other in. And of course, when you take it to a global level, there are thousands of cultures. But when you take it to the local level, which is where most people need to be and exist, your culture is where you're comfortable with. You're not going to spend time with people you're not comfortable with. So within your comfort zone, your culture is the people you interact with, and you take it or leave it, good or bad, you can exist very well, very comfortably. Within that, if you don't improve the overall culture and you don't eliminate all of the negativity in the culture, what happens is people do tend to circle down toward the drain, and it's very difficult for them to get up. In our world, we say it takes a village to take care of a village.
Wow. Interesting. Last year, more than 50,000 Americans died by suicide. That is more than any year on record. We have heard of suicide prevention, but what is suicide ideation, and how can that help?
Suicide ideation is what happens when someone is depressed or they feel like they've lost hope, and they start wondering if they have any personal value. And so they start looking for answers. And when the very, very first moment, someone thinks that they would be better off not here than here, that is the peek around the corner at suicide ideation.
One of the topics your organization covers is bullying. Does it not only exist in our physical world, but even in our digital social media world now?
Bullying actually is much more pervasive in the online space. The digital world allows people to bully anonymously, and the overall effect is it's cumulative. You know, if you get poked at once or twice, it doesn't bother you too much. You can shake it off. But if you get a constant pounding over time, you start to not be able to shed that effect. An example I can give you from the animal world is when a zebra is running from a lion. When they escape the lion, they spend 3, 4, 5 minutes stamping around and snorting and banging into trees. And what they're doing is they're shedding adrenaline so they don't have a long-term negative effect of worrying about being chased. And humans, we just don't do that. We haven't found a really good way to have a coping mechanism that's universal for all humans.
Wow. I mean, that's interesting, that example you gave right there. I mean, sadly, it's not uncommon for my son to come home with complaints of being bullied. I mean, is it understandable to be afraid and to teach it is okay to be afraid?
The only way to approach that is from two angles. Number one, fear is usually an irrational response to something that we cannot control. And we say to all the children that we work with, danger is real. Don't ever forget that danger is definitely real. Fear is a response. And so if you learn the right coping mechanisms, you can control the fear, but it's okay to be afraid. The main thing is just learn the 3 or 4 steps to avoid bullying and allowing it to overwhelm you. And you can get through your day and you can grow accordingly.
We're talking some real tangible steps that need to be taken, not just being aware there is a danger, but then taking those steps. I mean, with podcasts, you hope to bring awareness. How will this be done? I mean, are you doing presentations with interviews? And if so, with who?
Well, I've done a lot of podcasts on the educational space, and about half of them have been in the conflict management and anti-bullying domain. And one of the things that we do is we teach the third party effect. And the more people embrace the third party effect, the less bullying will become a problem. The third party effect is you can't help if you're going to become a victim. It isn't if, it's when. And the only choice you can do is get away from the bully, or you can travel in groups, or there can be a large effort to educate the kids that if you're the third person on the scene, your responsibility is to notify somebody, not stand there and videotape it on your phone. And that is an affect that as we teach more and more people and it diffuses out, a lot of schools are finding that the kids are taking responsibility for the bullies themselves. A bully can never stand the light of day. Get the light on them, they back off.
Absolutely. Just like evil likes to lurk in the shadows, so do the bully. Same thing as that. I mean, you are an agent for positive social change. With signature events and more, what other partnerships and ways do you hope to empower our youth and our families?
We have community boost camps where we invite local sponsors to put money into an event where we spend the day. We do activities with families in a confined, bounded environment. And what we do is we allow people to see that regardless of what your backstory is, everyone's the same. Everyone has the exact same narrative. It doesn't matter how you got there, but you're all there together. And that's just an example of one of our events. Another event where we honor a local person who does a lot of things in the community pro-social space by having a dinner for them, let them come up on stage, tell their story. And then what we're doing is we're projecting hope into the community that regardless of where you've been and regardless of what your backstory is, you have a story to tell and you can empower your neighbors and you can empower your people. Our belief is local always before anything else.
Interesting. I mean, you have many community building programs to choose from. While we can't discuss them all, share with us what has been some of the most popular of those building programs for you.
We have one program that we use, and it is called the tackling the boom boom on bullying. And the way we approach that is we get sponsors in a space. We get 200 to 300 people there, and the sponsors keep half the tickets, and they give the other half of the tickets to at-risk youth and their families in the community, and we bring them in and we show them that regardless of what our backstory is, we're the same as them. Randy is a 5-time world kickboxing champion, and yet he was bullied as a child, and that's what motivated him to get into martial arts in the first place. Fast forward to today, now he's getting in front of youth and explaining to them the damages and the ravages of bullying and how you can overcome it. And that message, when it comes from someone who's been there, done that, is very powerful, especially when we're right there. We're right now. This is me. This is what happened to me. And now look at me. This can be you. And it's a message that people embrace.
That is an excellent approach. I would agree. So many times we think we're going through it alone, we're isolated, and yet we need to look at a mentor that's been there and also been through that as well. I mean, you're basically an author. The Slippery Slope, before we let you go, touch on a little bit what the reader is going to find in that book there.
Well, it's a series of books. The books, there's 12 books in a row. The first book is on ethics. The second book is on morals. The third and fourth books are human development books. One is for teens and young adults, and the other one is for the parents. And it is to show them how co-creation and working together, as opposed to being controlled or being rebellious, works more definitively. I wrote the ethics and morals books because I believe they needed to be foundational books, and they are being looked at and picked up by schools across the country as what is needed and what has been lacking in the educational space.
That is excellent. I think that's definitely needed out there. Obviously, folks, can they order that right there online as well?
Absolutely. They can get those on Amazon, and we will be adding a storefront to our website, and they will be able to link directly to the Amazon sales page through our website if they want to go that direction.
Excellent. You teach the #1 program for stopping bullying in its tracks immediately. Is third-party basically intervention and educating the students on being empowered. So how can the public get involved with your organization that is brand new here?
We do have a space where they can donate. Right now, we're still waiting for the federal government to approve our 501c3. So we have a fiscal sponsor, which is actually another nonprofit called Veteran Connection. And they focus on taking care of veterans who have PTSD and suicide ideation as well. And because we're a coalition, there's many nonprofits in the coalition. So they can donate to those nonprofits, or they can come to fightersforhope.org, and they will be able to donate directly through our website. And anything that gets donated above $5, we have added value. We give them something back. I'll give you an example. If someone donates $50, we will send them a t-shirt or a polo, or we'll send them one of my books. Whatever they check in the little checkbox, that's what they're going to get back, because we believe everybody should get value for their donation.
That is excellent. Great way for the public out there. Buddy, as a father yourself of 4 adult children, adult grandchildren, and many great-grandchildren, why is this mission important to you?
You know, I wasn't the greatest parent at times. I think when you've been married 50 years, you've got a family story, and that family story it looks like a roller coaster at Disneyland, and you just have to accept the fact that people are going to be up and people are going to be down, but they need someone who's been through those journeys and who has the voice of reason and also the education to understand why some of those things happened, to help guide them through the rough patches. I mean, no one was there to help me, but if I can change the narrative on that and be there to help other people, that's a blessing that God gave me and I can't ever let go of.
Excellent, honest answer. I appreciate that. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. On the website, you can learn more about what this organization is going to do to empower our youth out there, as well as our families. You can find their podcasts online. You can also learn more about moral decision making, and you can also order his book series, The Slippery Slope, right there online as well. Once again, that is Fighters for Hope, from despair to hope. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.